Welcome to your practice. My name's Sophie, and today we're doing a higher level Vinyasa flow. For today's practice, you don't need anything besides your mat, but if you happen to have 2 blocks, then have them nearby. Have them towards the front of the mat because they can come in handy, but I'll be showing you everything without the blocks. And we're focusing on lower body today. Hips, hamstrings, everything lower body focused. But of course, it's always, every practice is a full body practice, so you'll feel great everywhere by the end of this class. We'll get started in child's pose. So as you arrive into child's, crawl the fingertips as far forward as you can to stretch through the back and the torso. Let your forehead soften to the ground. Maybe you even lift your elbows and lift your palms up to keep this kind of active. And take 3 deep breaths. After your 3rd breath, plant down through your right hand and weave your left arm over to the right. So kind of threading the needle, but a little more gentle when we do it from child's pose. See if you can just reach your left arm as far forward as possible. And maybe take your right arm into a half bind if you feel good doing that. Just take one more full breath. Bring your right hand back down to the ground. Bring your left hand down to the ground. And weave your right arm over to the left. So just switching sides. You might crawl your left fingertips forward or take your left arm into a half bind. And as you're here, set your intention for your practice today. Perhaps your intention is, I am focused. I am peaceful. I move with ease. Bring your left arm back. Bring your right hand back. And make your way back up into table for our first time today. From tabletop, drop your belly, lift your heart for a cow. And then round into cat. Maybe come up onto your fingertips just to switch it up today. So inhale for cow, you put the palms back down. Exhale, cat, you round onto your fingertips. One more time. Arrive back into table and turn your hands around so your fingers face your knees. You're turning your hands out to the right. And turn your hands around so the fingers face your knees. Your hands go out, not in. And then they turn all the way around. And you tuck your toes. You might shift front to back. Shift your weight around. Maybe take some circles. 3 circles in each direction. We really want to make sure we warm up the wrists pretty well today because we'll be working towards an arm balance. And in arm balance, we have lots of pressure on the wrists. Nothing that a strong body can't handle, though. We'll turn the hands back around. Come up onto the fingertips. Walk your hands back and lift your knees up. And you kind of sit back towards your heels and bring your forehead towards your knees. Rounding through the upper back. Dropping your heels to the ground to get a stretch in the soleus, the lower calf muscles. Maybe you rock your head a little side to side. And then come back onto the knees, walk your hands forward into table, and take your right leg out to the right, and then begin to take circles with the right leg. 3 big hip circles in each direction. Kind of lubricating the hip joint. So once you've done 3, go in the other direction. That hip joint is a ball and socket joint, the femur bone in the hip socket. One more circle. And then take your right leg straight back behind you. And take your right leg over to the left. Tuck your toes so it's like off of your mat. And look over your left shoulder as you press back into your right heel. So you stretch into the calf or stretching into the right side body. Take your leg straight back up again. And bring your right knee all the way to your right armpit. Get it as high as you can. And extend it straight back behind you. Inhale. Exhale, knee to upper arm as high as you can. Inhale, extend. And one more time. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, extend it back. Set your right knee back down onto the ground. And with the left leg, we'll take it out to the left and then begin to take 3 big hip circles. Slow it down, don't rush. Once you've done 3, switch directions. Then take your left leg straight back behind you. Press into the hands so that you're not like dumping into the shoulders. Then take your left foot over to the right. Tuck the toes, press back into the heel, gaze over the right shoulder. And take your left leg straight back behind you. Inhale. Exhale, left knee to left upper arm. Find your Ujjayi breath. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to upper arm. Get it high up. Once more. Bring it back and bring it in as high as you can. Extend your leg straight back behind you and set the knee down to the ground. And we'll sit back on the heels for toes pose. And we'll pretend we're flicking water off of our wrists. Let's just do that a bunch of times. This really warms up the wrists as well. Flick, flick, flick. For 10 more seconds. See if you can go even faster. This warms up the fingers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring your hands to the ground. Come onto the backs of the hands so that the fingers face each other. So your fingers are facing in and you're on the backs of the hands. And wiggle your fingers. You can open and close your fists or wiggle your fingers one at a time. Wave them. Beautiful. Come back onto the hands. Tabletop. Downward facing dog. And by the way, if your wrists do get sore at any time in any practice, take a break. You can always come down to child's pose. But in down dog, let's find some movement, pedal your heels, and also find your breath. Connect to your breath. Again, maybe bringing in Ujjayi, or just a regular breath in and out. Shift forward into plank. Inhale. Exhale, go back to down dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Actually, we need to go back to plank, so one more time to plank. Stay there. Lower all the way down to the ground with control. Go extra slow. Untuck your toes. Lift up for cobra. Lower back down to the ground. Tuck your toes. Lift your thighs up. And slowly press up to plank. Chaturanga, down halfway. Hold. Upward facing dog or cobra. And downward facing dog. Take a breath in. And breath out. Remember your intention. Bring your intention into your practice. Cultivate that. And we'll make our way to the front of the mat. Take little steps for the first one. Lift up halfway. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Let's do that again. Half lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Can you shift your weight into your toes a little bit more? See how that changes. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Changes the constitution of the pose, just those subtle little cues and adjustments. You can grab onto your elbows. Take a few breaths here. And then release the arms down, the hands down. And lift up halfway. Bring your feet wider, maybe as wide as your mat, assuming you have a regular size mat, standard size mat. And walk your hands over to the right. Bend your left knee a little bit and fold over your right leg. Release your neck. And you should feel a stretch in the outer right leg, potentially. And then walk your hands over to the left. Bend your right knee, fold over your left leg. And while you're here, you can notice how your feet interact with the ground. We're start working to press into all 10 toes, but also keep the inner arch lifting of the feet. Come back to center. Turn your toes slightly out and come down into Malasana. Bring your hands to your heart. And then take your arms straight out in front of you. You really have to work your back here and work your thighs open. And reach the arms up to the sky. Then grab onto your left wrist with your right hand and take a side bend to the right. Little side bend. Come back to center. Grab onto your right wrist and take a side bend to the left. Come back up to center. Release your hands down, fold forward. Bring your feet back to hip distance. Lift up halfway. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand. Reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Arms down by your sides. Stand tall in Tadasana at the front of your mat. And as you reach your arms up, lift your left leg up. Take your left leg back and your arms back to go into airplane warrior 3. Go really slow. Then slowly step to high lunge, so as slow as possible. Set the toes down, reach the arms up. Take an inhale. On exhale, straighten your right leg, bring your hands to the ground, and fold over the right leg. Take 2 more breaths here. Your back heel is still lifted. It's like a modified pyramid. Bend your right knee back into low lunge, or into low lunge. We haven't been here yet. Put the back knee down to the ground, untuck your toes, and sweep your arms up to the sky. Grab onto your elbows, make a frame around your head. Squeeze the hips towards each other, lift through your torso, maybe a tiny back bend here. Then reach your arms back up. Straighten your right leg as you shift back into half splits, but without putting your hands down if possible. And inhale, come back to Anjaneyasana. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, Anjane. Exhale, half splits. Stay here. Plant your left hand down. Reach your right arm up. Bring your right hand down to the ground. Come back into a low lunge, keeping the hands on the ground. Tuck your toes, lift your back knee, and step to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand, reach up. Hands to heart, exhale. Arms down by your sides. Reach the arms up again, pause there, and lift your right leg up into one-legged mountain. Then take your arms back behind you and your right leg back into warrior 3. Airplane warrior 3. Let your breath be your main point of focus. And extra slow, we step back to high lunge. Feel your toes reach the ground. Reach the arms up. Pause here for a moment. Take an inhale. Straighten your left leg and fold on your exhale. Kind of like pyramid. Just take a moment to marinate in these sensations and let the muscles in the back of the left leg stretch. Bend your left knee into low lunge. Put the back knee down. Reach the arms up. Smile with your chest and maybe with your face too. On your exhale, your arms go back and you straighten your left leg. You lean forward a bit. Inhale, koudinyasana. Exhale, half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. Again, inhale, Anjane. Exhale, Hanuman. That's the monkey god. Ardha means half, so half monkey. Inhale, reach the arms up. Bend the knee, exhale, bring it back. And then we stay here. Bring your right hand down. Lift your left arm up. And bring your left hand down to the ground. Come back into low lunge on your fingertips. Lift your back knee and step to the front of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Arms down by your sides. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. Exhale, step back to plank. Lower down halfway for chaturanga. We're going to hold here for 3, 2, and come back up to plank on 1. Let's do it again. Lower down, hold. 3, 2, 1. Bring it back up. We're doing 2 more of those. Down, hold. 3, 2, 1. Bring it back up. Down, hold. 3, 2. You're going to stay here. Stay here. Upward facing dog. Inhale. And downward facing dog. Remember your intention. Bring your feet together. Lift your right leg up to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, step your foot outside of your right hand for lizard. Take a moment to marinate in lizard. Rock side to side, front to back. And then pause in the center and take your right shoulder underneath your right knee. Slide your fingertips to the right. Left arm out to the left. You're on your fingertips on both hands. You're squeezing the right knee into the middle. Maybe you can float your arms into airplane. And bring your hands back down to the ground inside of your right foot. Put your back knee down. You have choices here. You can put your forearms down and stretch that way. You can roll onto the outer edge of your right foot and maybe the right knee goes out more. Or you can also push your hand into your thigh. Maybe you like to stretch your quads here, bend the back knee and grab onto that foot. We'll stay here for about 5 breaths. So tune in. Instead of tuning out, when we hold a pose, can you tune in? Breathe into the medicine of this practice. Release your foot and come back onto your hands. And tuck your toes and lift your back knee. Slide your right foot between your hands. And walk your hands forward for standing splits. Lift your left leg up to the sky. Let's square the hips today so we can get more stretch on the back of the right leg. So instead of lifting the left leg as high as you can, flex the toes. Get the left toes facing the ground. It's almost like warrior 3 legs. And anchor your right hip back. Notice what you feel. Bring your left knee next to your right knee for flamingo pose. And then extend your left leg straight out in front of you. And maybe hold onto your foot with your hands. So we're in Ekapada Malasana, one-legged squat. And if you can't have your hands to your foot, no big deal. Shoulders back, lengthen your spine. Option to try to stand all the way up. And then can you slowly come back down to one-legged squat? Just do your best. Ooh, that was fun. And then we'll take the left leg back into low lunge. Maybe use no hands as you take your left leg back under you and then step your foot back. I definitely had to put my hands down. Now we all have our hands down on the ground. Then we'll put the back knee down and straighten out the right leg for half splits again. This time bring your hands over to the right side. And then come back to center to frame your foot. Bend your knee into low lunge. Tuck your toes, lift your back knee, and step back into plank. From there, lower onto your forearms one at a time for a forearm plank. And lift your right foot up an inch off the ground. Reach your toes to the back of the mat. Set your foot back down. Lift your left leg up. Point your left toes to the back of the mat. And then set your foot down. Slowly come back up onto your hands. Downward facing dog. Lift your left leg to the sky. Step your left foot outside of your left hand for lizard. Take a moment to move around. Find stillness. Keep the whole bottom of the left foot down as you firm up your back thigh and bring your left shoulder under your left knee, over to the left, right hand over to the right, and squeeze everything into the center. Maybe you lift your hands up for 3, 2, 1. Put your hands back on the ground inside of your left foot. Put your back knee down onto the ground. And same thing as the other side. Do whatever feels good for you. If you followed along with me, maybe you put your forearms down, rolled onto the outer edge of the left foot a little bit. Push the left hand into the left thigh as you rotate open, and then lift the left arm up and bend the knee and grab onto the foot. Any or all of those things is fine. This might be a good time to reconnect with Ujjayi breath. Keeping the practice as focused as possible will help us in the long run and will help us get the most out of this practice. A couple more rounds of breath. Release the foot down if you have it. Come back up onto your hands. Slide the foot between the hands and lift your back knee. Walk your hands forward and come into standing splits. And then square off the hips. Flex the foot, draw the left hip back. Bring the right knee next to the left knee for flamingo. Gaze forward. And then extend your right leg out in front of you for a one-legged squat. And hold on to the foot if you can. There's many reasons that you might not be able to be here right now. You might have your hands behind you and just do your best. Either way, you're going to get a lot out of this. Good strengthening, good mobility. If you want to try standing up, press into the left foot. Ready? Rise on up. Definitely takes practice to do that. Don't give up. And then come back down. And we'll take the right leg straight back behind us into a low lunge. Set the knee down. Straighten the left leg. Half splits. Ardha Hanumanasana. Take your hands over to the left if you want a little more. And bring your hands back to frame your foot. Come into low lunge. Lift your back knee. Plant your hands. Step back into plank. Lower down halfway. Hold. Lift your right foot up. Set it down. Lift your left foot up. Set it down. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Breath in. And breath out. Look forward. Step or hop to the front of your mat. Take your time. Maybe you get bouncy and work on your hop. Once you get there, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand. Hands to heart. Arms down by your sides. Take a moment to breathe. Reach your arms up. Lift your left leg up. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Hands to heart, figure 4. We sit low. We flex the left foot. It's like you're sitting in chair. So you really want to sit back and down as your chest is open. Okay, rise back up to one-legged mountain. And either put your left hand on your knee or wrap your left peace fingers around your left big toe. Right hand on hip. Extend your leg forward. Or if your hand is on your knee, you can keep your knee bent if you want. Extend your leg out to the side. Same thing you can do with a bent knee. Right arm out to the right for a counterbalance. Stand really tall. Make sure you're not leaning back or leaning to the right too much. Ekapada. Uttita Hasta Padangustasana. That's what this is. One-legged hand to big toe pose. We'll extend the legs straight out in front of us and reach the arms up to the sky. Warrior 3, you're going to pendulum swing your left leg back. Reach your arms straight out in front of you. Knit the ribs in a little bit. You got it, you got it. Step back to high lunge. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale. Let's go into side angle. Right hand down inside of right foot. Left arm over the ear. Maybe you're craving a bind here, a half or a full bind. Do your thing. Then if you're in a bind, open the arms. Rise back up to warrior 2. Straighten your right leg. Turn your right toes in Hands on your hips. So we're facing the left side of the mat, and we're gonna do a wide-legged fold. Inhale, exhale, fold down to the ground. Any variation you want for about 5 breaths. Wherever you are, maybe you're trying to shift your weight into your toes a little bit instead of leaning back, and see how that feels. And then we'll bring the hands back under the shoulders and lift up halfway. Walk your hands to the front of the mat. Set your back knee down and straighten out your right leg. This time we're going to try full splits. So you can stay in half splits if you want, or if you're going into full, blocks here are really handy, by the way, if you're practicing your full splits, blocks under the hands. So you want to be really careful here. You want to make sure you're keeping a micro bend in the right knee. You're not locking it out. Keep the back toes tucked to encourage the internal rotation of the back leg. And don't force yourself here. Go to where you know is your limit and stay there. Don't go past. Take another full breath. Let's take a couple more actually, because it feels really good. To come out of it, I like to put both hands inside of the right leg and then just bring the back knee in a little bit and swing the right leg back into table, and then we'll go to down dog. So now we can really feel the difference between those legs. We'll make our way to the front of the mat. So we're going to step or hop there. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stand and reach the arms up. Hands to heart, exhale. Arms down by your sides. Reach your arms up to the sky. Lift your right leg up and cross your right ankle over your left thigh and bring your hands to your heart. Sit a little bit lower. And then stand back up, reach the arms up and lift the right knee back up. Either put your right hand on your knee or take your right peace fingers, put them around your big toe, left hand on hip, and extend your leg forward or keep it bent. Take your right leg out to the right, left arm out to the left. And take your leg straight out in front of you. Reach the arms back up. Keep the leg lifted as high as you can. And like a pendulum, swing your leg back. Go into warrior 3. Arms forward. Right leg back. Left hip draws back. You're extending forward and extending back at the same time. And slowly step into high lunge. Take one inhale. On the exhale, open to warrior 2. Reach forward, put your left hand down, and take right arm over your ear for side angle pose. Or maybe you're going into the bind. The bind. I guess it's just a bind. If you're in a bind, reach your arms up. Rise up to warrior 2 and straighten your left leg. Hands on hips. Turn your left toes in, setting up for Prasarita Padottanasana. Let's interlace the hands behind the back for this one. Get some shoulder opening. Open up the heart and fold forward. Release your hands to the ground. Lift up halfway. Walk your hands to the front of the mat. Set your back knee down and straighten out your left leg. You know where we're going. You can stay, or you can start to slide your left foot forward. Tuck your back toes, slide your back leg back. Micro bend in the left knee. The goal is not to be all the way down on the ground. It's to go as far as you can without hurting yourself and get a good stretch. That's all that matters. No one gets a prize for getting their splits all the way down to the ground anyways. Try to keep your chest up and broad if you can. Close your eyes. And then bring your hands inside of your left foot. Bring your back knee in, your hands inside of your left leg rather, and swing your left leg back behind. Come into table for a second. You might sit back on your heels, wiggle it out, and then back to down dog. Breath in and out. Shake out your head, let it go. All right, we got one more challenging thing in our practice today. We're going to make our way into our koudinyasana 2, so our flying splits. Bring the feet together and lift the right leg up. Bring your right knee all the way to your right upper arm. Get it up on there. Bend your elbows as you look forward. And then lean forward and lift your back leg and extend your right leg out to the side as well. Bring it back. Maybe chaturanga, up dog, and down dog. Wherever you are on that journey is fine too. You might not be lifting the back leg yet. It's okay. Second side, left leg goes up. Left knee to left upper arm. Ready? Extend your left leg, bend your elbows, look forward, lift your back leg. I like to look to the left. That might help you too. Chaturanga, if you want. Up dog, down dog. Child's pose. Maybe the arms down by your sides with your knees together. Give the upper body a break for a second. Maybe it feels good for you to sit upright on your knees. Rest the palms, back of the hands on the thighs. Feel all that energy we've created, all the prana. Movement truly is medicine, and we can feel it here. Make your way back to down dog. And walk your hands to the back of the mat. I just want to stretch out the wrists. So bring step onto the hands for gorilla pose. The backs of the hands to the ground. Toes all the way to the wrists. Head relaxes. And release your hands down, or your hands out from your feet. Walk all the way back out to plank and lower down to the ground here. And take your arms out wide and rest the left side of your head on the ground. Hold on, I actually messed that up. Instead of taking your arms out wide, plant your right hand and take your left arm over to the right. So you're threading your left arm under your right arm. Then bring your right knee up, slide it up on the ground, kind of like how some of us sleep at night, and open your right arm over to the right. Lately, I've been really loving this version of a supine twist. It just feels a little deeper. Left hand on top of right knee. And notice if there's a tension anywhere along the upper body, in the chest, the neck, shoulders. And just actively and intentionally let go. And bring the right arm back to the ground, extend the right leg back, come back onto the belly, and sweep your right arm under the left arm. Bring the left knee up, and then take your left arm over to the left as you twist, open the spine, right hand on top of left knee. Two more breaths. And bring your arm back down. Extend your left leg back. And back onto the hands. Press up into table. And extend your legs straight out in front of you. Paschimottanasana. Flex the feet. Reach the arms up, sit tall, slight bend of the knees. Fold forward. Remember your intention. Slowly rise back up. Make your way onto your back. Then hug your knees into your chest once you get there. Rock a little side to side. There's something so sweet about the simple movements like this. Bring your feet down to the ground. And bring your feet wide, like probably wider than your mat, like really wide. And drop your right knee in down towards the center. And switch, drop your left knee in, take the right knee up a little. So we're getting into those abductor muscles here, in the outer thighs, outer hip. They're smaller muscles on the at least where they attach to the hip, so it might feel a little different than other stretches. And then bring the knee back up. And we'll bring the feet together and knees wide. Take your arms overhead and grab onto your elbows, or really just like your wrist. I'm really holding on to my forearms more so it's comfortable. Or maybe you just want your arms to rest overhead. You don't have to grab onto anything. And take a full breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Again, all the way in. And all the way out. And bring your knees up. And extend your legs straight out to the ground. Take your arms down by your sides. Let yourself drift into a sweet Shavasana for just a couple minutes. Even if your mind says, let's get up, let's get moving, can you choose to stay anyway? Bring your awareness to the space right between your eyes, the seat of intuition. And just let your awareness rest right there in that space. As if all of you existed just right there. Begin to bring your awareness back. Feel the ground beneath you. Slowly wiggle your fingers and toes. Open and close your fists. Bend your knees. Roll to one side. And press up to a seat. Bring your palms together at your heart. I want to thank you so much for practicing with me today. And I would love to hear from you below in the comments on what you thought of the class. And if you're not subscribed, then hit that subscribe button so we can continue practicing together. Let's bring the thumbs up to the third eye and bow together in gratitude for this practice. Thank you.